Before I go into detail about what I'm going to be watching next here, I want to make it very clear, I don't hate this guy. I don't want to bash him in any way. His name is Kurt Anderson. Now, this is the first time I ever looked him up, but everything that I've been seeing, his articles, Twitter, everything, he is extremely anti-religion and anti-Trump. Now, do I care that he's anti-Trump? No. Do I care that he's anti-religion? Not really. But what I do care about is the fact that this video, which I've watched already, which I'm going to watch again because I wanted to see what points he's making out. In this video, and in the links down below, there's nothing to it. There was no articles, nothing. In this video, he points out so much, but doesn't give an example. So he uses words that people are going to take and actually believe, because apparently he's an author of many books. And what? No proof, no backup, except for during several years passing by, the Republican Party became more Christian or has taken up more of a belief of religion. Why is that bad? Let's react. Let's look at the video. Let's point out some of the things that I would like to argue about. So until then, I'll see you guys next time.
In 2008, of the big Republican presidential candidates, they were asked, how many of you believe in Darwinian biological evolution? 2/3 or 3/4 said, I do. 2012, same question asked, same group of people, Republican presidential candidates, it was already down to 1/3. 2016, the 17 people, main candidates for the Republican nomination, asked, do you believe in evolution? One, Jeb Bush, brave Jeb Bush, said he did, but he said, walking it back even as he said it, I'm not sure it should be taught in our public schools, and if it is, it should be taught along with creationism. So,
okay, I'm not trying to make fun of him. Sorry, I did that. So, when we've been talking about, okay, the whole thing, okay, over the years, you ask, hey, do you believe in Darwinism? Do you believe in evolution? And in his example, he's saying that throughout the years, less and less people are saying yes, they do, or they don't. Let me bring you this. What do you mean by evolution? Now, I'm not going to be like Big Think. I'm not going to be like Kurt Anderson and not provide links so you guys can make your own decision. I'm not going to speak my own words without providing links and sources and evidence towards my claims. So when he says, do you believe in evolution or Darwinism? Darwinism is this is probably the first time you've ever heard this before, but Darwinism is a very racist ideology, okay? It seems very, very extreme of me to say, but it honestly is a racist worldview. I'm not going to go into detail. Links will be down below, and you'll know which ones to click. I'll put the topic on it. But Darwinism is a very racist idea. He actually thought that whites were more superior than black people. Not from me. These are literally words from Darwin. And I want to go back to the whole topic of evolution. What do you mean by evolution? Evolution can be taken to two different parts, okay? One is the one that you believe that we came from swamp to animal to the stage that we're in now. The other one is adaptation, which is, it's very simple, okay? We've always been human, and our bodies make slight changes in order to survive the surrounding area, okay? Adaptation. So, skin color has a deal on that. The sharpness of the teeth, being tall, being small. So which evolution? Which evolution is he talking about? Because I deny, and again, this is going to be a big claim, I deny evolution in the sense of we are swamp, non-life matter, became animal to where we are now. That is the evolution I deny. Why? Because not only is the proof that they try to push onto schools and us and everybody saying that evolution is true, and the fact that simple biology actually debunks the whole theory, and that's why it's called theory, because it hasn't been proven, but we still teach it as a fact. The whole theory of evolution, the simple teachings of biology go against evolution, but adaptation is something that we can see, not just with the human species, but with all species.
From 2008 to 2016, that was the change, and that change is, I don't believe all those people believed what they said. I don't think all of them disbelieve in evolution, some of them, but they were all obliged to say yes to falsehood and magical thinking of.
This is where the opinion comes in, and this is where his attitude should have been kept out. When you make videos like this, and you're trying to explain how religion turned American politics against science, and you start doing that, and you start putting your own opinion, this is where you should click off this video. Is when you see a doctor or a PhD or professor guy saying, I think this, oh, I think that, oh, I believe this, and I believe that, with no links down below, you should click off the video. Okay, so this is the part when he starts bringing in his own feelings, and this is where a lot of people think, oh well, he's a book author, or you know, he's Kurt Anderson. He has a talk show. He must be good. He must be legit. And just believe him. That's blind faith right there.
To say yes to falsehood and magical thinking of this religious kind. And that's where it becomes problematic. America has always been a Christian nation. That meant a very different thing 100 years ago or even 50 years ago than it means today.
I don't believe that. Christian nation used to mean something 150 years ago. Doesn't mean the same thing now. That's what he's claiming. Let me make this clear that the Constitution and Declaration of Independence, the whole foundation of America, was based off the belief of an objective moral standard. You cannot get the laws and the rights that America says we have without there being an objective moral standard. Let me give you an example to this, okay? We believe that all rights are granted to us by a creator and not man. That comes from a religious worldview. Doesn't come from man, okay? That our rights are objective. They apply to everybody. If you don't believe that, and you believe that rights and laws are created by man, then there is nothing wrong with what China is doing to the underground churches. There is nothing wrong with silencing people's views. You can only get freedom through the religious worldview that laws and rights and freedom is given by a creator and not dictated by man. And you can see throughout all history that when man is given the power to do whatever they want and to dictate what they want, it ends with slaughter.
I grew up not going to church very often at all and not with much religious education, but all of my friends were weekly regular churchgoers of various kinds. Christian Protestant religion became extreme, became more magical and supernatural in its beliefs and practices in America.
See, this is where his opinion comes in, and this is like another example of why you should click off videos that instantly go to this. Let's listen to that again.
Became extreme.
Extreme. I would ask, give me an example of becoming extreme. Give me an example. By putting God back into schools? That's extreme. Letting prayer be in schools? Is that extreme? Letting kids read the Bible in school? That's extreme. Here's the thing that I don't understand. They say street preaching or handing out gospel tracts or praying in school or reading the Bible in school is extreme. Okay, great. You also say that as long as you don't force your religion onto me, I am fine. Let's bring that back to school. Allowing kids to read the Bible in school or to pray in school is not forcing you to pray or read the Bible. It gives the children who are religious the chance to pray or read their Bible on lunchtime or even at recess. Nowhere in school have we ever forced somebody to pray, forced you to close your eyes. Even at my church, we don't. We do not force people to close their eyes and pray. If you do not want to pray, you just are quiet during that time, just to respect everybody. So how have we become extreme?
Became more magical and supernatural in its beliefs and practices in America.
Supernatural and magical. No examples. No links. Come on, Kurt. Come on, Kurt.
Than it had been in hundreds of years, and more so than it is anywhere else in the developed world.
In the developed world, we've become more extreme. That can be refuted by as simply as looking at China. Has become more extreme. Which one is more extreme? And which one is more magical? Okay? China killing and putting Muslims into concentration camps. Killing Christians in underground churches when they're discovered. That's extreme. Rome, throughout history, killing Christians and people who defy the government because they don't want to be spoken about negatively. That's extreme. But here in America, we believe that all rights and freedom are given by a creator. Therefore, you can speak against people that you don't like. You can speak against government officials that you don't like without being afraid to be put to the stake. That only comes with religion, the freedom.
So you have that happening. At the same time, not coincidentally, you have the Republican Party beginning, certainly by 30 years ago, becoming more and more a party of those religiously extreme Protestants.
As in Protestants, do you mean by telling people it's not right to have an abortion? Do you mean by extreme by telling people that you should not have sex out of marriage? That you need to be held accountable for the actions that you take? Is that extreme? Is it extreme to say that if you violate someone's body, you should be put to death? Or is that just common sense? That the laws in scripture say if you violate somebody's body in rape, if you murder somebody, you are to be put to death. Law and order is not a bad thing.
So, one thing that has happened, and one thing that has led, I think, the Republican Party to accept fantasy and wishful untruth more and more into its approach to policy, whether it's climate change or the idea that a secret Muslim conspiracy is about to replace our constitutional judiciary system with Sharia law.
It's not really a conspiracy theorist. Muslim nations, the Islamic belief, it is literally all about that, to take over and to apply the laws that they have to the world. So it's not really a conspiracy because we're getting that from their own Quran. Another thing that I want to mention is we are not extreme. We are not extreme because we believe that saving lives is important. We're not extreme for saying that we shouldn't put tax dollars into people who killed somebody or murdered somebody. And how flawed the world has become when it comes to laws is a great example of the godless people that are in charge. Here's an example. We have people in power that know for a fact that this certain man, that a man has killed and raped a 12-year-old. They go to jail and they get out. Then they do it again. And then these people put him in jail. And then they let him out. And then he does it again. That's my argument when it comes to when you violate someone's body, you should be put to death. Is because if that man who had murdered, raped, slaughtered people, went to the bank or grocery store and did something horrendous, was put to death, the people in the future could have been saved. Another girl wouldn't have to experience what she had experienced. There's examples all the time here in America that we let these illegal immigrants come in without being checked first, and they go out and do stuff that is horrible. Then they get arrested, and then they do it again. And then they get arrested, and they do it again. But we don't send them back to where they're from. We just let them out. God's laws may seem ridiculous and hardcore, but there is a very, very good reason to why we have those laws.
Or any number of other simply untrue tenets of republicanism. All these things, which were nutty fringe ideas as recently as 30 years ago,
nutty fringe ideas,
are now in the Republican mainstream. I think there's a
nutty.
I think once you have a political party, more and more of whose members are believe in religious and supernatural fantasies of a more and more extravagant kind.
His English sucks. His English really sucks. He's just spewing out nonsense. Religious fantasies, nut.
It stands to reason, or to unreason, that you will have a party that is more and more inclined to embrace the fantastical in its politics and policy. Believe whatever you want in the privacy of your home, in the privacy of your family, in the privacy of your church. But when it bleeds over, as it inevitably has done in America, to how we manage and construct our economy and our society.
Having religious beliefs going to government is not a bad thing. Having religious people in government is not a bad thing, okay? And here's my reasoning for that. His argument is that having religious people in the government seep into your practices, seep into the government is a bad thing. No, it's not. One thing is that the government in the United States, Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, was founded on a religious worldview. Again, I'll bring this up again, that the people that believe that also separation of church and state can go two ways. One, the state and a state religion, you could say. So the whole United States is not forced to believe in one religion. And also, the government cannot infringe on your religious beliefs. Why? Because the moment that the government can infringe on your religious beliefs is the moment that the government can tell you what to believe, what to do, and the moment that your freedom that you've been given, not by man, but by God, is limited. So it's not bad to have religious people in the government, because religious people have that simple understanding that they are not the ones that create laws and give rights, but these laws and rights are given by a creator that we cannot take away. So he's proving to me that there are two people in the world. One, the people that believe that all people are created equal, that our laws and our rights are given by a creator and not by man, that we have freedom of speech, freedom of choice, and the right to speak out against government and not be afraid to be persecuted. And we have people like him that believe that all religious people should not have anything to do with the government, that it's a bad thing, that we're all fanatics, we're all extreme, and that man should be the one that dictates rights and laws into play, which then becomes a dictatorship, which will all end up going down the same road as China. Go to Australia, you have the government coming in and just wrecking people. Go to Russia, you're not allowed to speak against the government, or you can go missing or be killed, or you go arrested. And don't bring up that whole argument saying that Putin is a religious man, because if he was, he would recognize that people do have a freedom of speech. He wouldn't be taking away laws and very just common sense human rights if he really did believe in freedom. So thank you guys for watching. Yes, this is very controversial. Yes, again, Kurt Anderson is wrong on a lot of topics. He's very, very small brain. I'll say that. He's very small brain. Big think, I would really, really like it if you could put some links down below next time to actually prove your points. And Kurt Anderson, stop using stupid vocabulary to explain your points. But instead, also, if you're going to give a point, give a reason to why you believe that. Simply saying that we have moved to a more of a society or a government people that believe in religion and mysterious belief systems is a bad thing. Give me reason to why. Why are we extreme? Why is it a fantasy? Why is it wrong to believe in a god? Because I can name you a lot of things why it's wrong to believe that man gives you laws and rights as humans.